from a stylistic standpoint, you would still expect Spain to have the lion's share of possession and control the ball. Will France be able to arrest that in any way and hit in transition? How do you actually see the game, Troy?
It's a great question. I think both are going to try and play their natural styles. Spain playing the ball the way they do is obviously it's fantastic, but I just think that France have got too much in midfield. So they can obviously be like Kone, they can really run right at that midfield and break it up and then hit on the counter-attack. And the way that Spain go with both fullbacks bombing on, I just wonder, can you leave that much space with Mbappé, with Barcola, Doué, whoever they choose to go on the left, and Dembele on the right? But then from a Spain perspective, Dembele hasn't been tracking back, Mbappé hasn't been tracking back. So do you then overload with the ball? That's like the really interesting piece of this. But the one thing Spain have to do, yes, they can keep the ball. When they get opportunities, they have to be ruthless. You heard Phil eventually get around to it, but talking about having a killer in the middle. If you have a killer in the middle, you get a chance. France, I feel, will have one chance, maybe two, and they'll score. And it'll be Spain worrying about what France do as opposed to the other way around. So it's a really intriguing game, one I'm really, really looking forward to.
I think we'll see a similar game that we saw today. I think we'll see Spain with a lot of possession, a lot of the balls, but think about how many moments they need to create a chance. It is really hard for them to create the moment. They don't have the number 9. Yamal hasn't been his best, right? So although they're doing 9 out of the 10 things perfectly, in the opponent's box, they look like they struggle a little bit to find the goal, right? They want to make it perfect. So I think we'll see that. Now, on the flip side, when you look at Belgium were able to push them to a really difficult game late in this game, 2-1, right? But Belgium don't have nearly the pieces that France have. So you just wonder that on the counterattack, France, how many chances do they need? Like, you got Olise running it. He's going to run on the counter, and Mbappé's going to run on the counter. I think you're going to see some fragile moments in that Spain defense, and I think France will be able to hurt them on the counterattack. So even though Spain will control the game, France have too many weapons on the counterattack that will hurt you, where Belgium didn't have that, and they still were able to ask questions of Spain. Just one little caveat is the goal Belgium score, that made Mackenzie hit her bet, by the way. It was inch-perfect pass from De Bruyne, inch-perfect pass from the fullback, Castagna, and an inch-perfect header. Literally, go back and look at it. It was every pass and every moment had to be that good to score on Spain for them to concede their first goal. I think France can put those moments together. So I think it'll be very even, Spain in control, but France will look to hurt them on the counter, and they will.
It's the final before the final, really and truly. When you look at it, these are two nations that are going to be very confident.
That's exactly what it is, yeah. It's a semi-final.
It's the final before the final. Some people look at this as a final, all right? They say something as the final before the final, okay. All right? I'm with Numpty over there. I agree what he said. I think Spain will definitely be more worried about France and the attacking force that they have than the other way round. It's just going to be interesting in team selection. You know, when you look at France, we talk about the strength of the squad, right? You could start a Barcola in this game because then you can maybe have a Barcola who can actually track back and help out with defending against Lamine Yamal, but he can also be very direct. I think the Spain will be very worried about Kylian Mbappé. I think they'll be very worried about when he drops into the pockets. They obviously know how he plays. When he plays in the Liga, you've got obviously Kubasi that he goes up against. And then when you worry about him, you still got Dembele, you've got other options. So it's going to be very, very interesting. We haven't, I don't know, can you really say we can see France taking it to another level? Or we've seen the maximum of France?
I think every time we've watched France, they've left you thinking, oh, they could really switch it on again. They could go another level.
And also the bench as well for France. So when you look at the options that they've got, don't get me wrong, I think, again, Spain, all credit to them, brilliant. But they don't have that strength and depth of quality of players who can affect a game when you need to win a game.
They're just not going to have the ball, though. France is not going to have the ball.
I think there'll be periods where, I would say, I think there'll be periods where France will be comfortable to keep the ball.
But the lion's share will be Spain.
Yeah, that's fine. That's expected.
Play, right?
That's expected.
Then it's a matter of, does France hit on the counter and take those moments? And I think they do.
And the other question to that is, if Spain play the way they've done today, or the last couple of games where it's a lot of passes, but they don't kill you off,
that's my word. That's the game for me.
Okay.
France can do the other end, but also what France can do, which no one's done to Spain just yet. Belgium did it a little bit, Austria did it a little bit. He's actually run at them with pace and be like, we're going to try and score. Nobody else has really done that. But imagine the ball turns over, they leave the two at the back versus Mbappe. Saliba can just put one down the channel and say, chase that.
Well, it's also
as simple as that can just change a game.
Watching the Belgium play today as well, what they did long balls, long and direct balls. Are Spain going to want to do that and play that bit of a high line with those three up top when France can go direct? We've seen France not scared to overplay, just go, all right, boom, Mbappé versus Koulibaly. So it's going to be interesting.
Spain's better than them, I'm sure.
You think so?
100%. Spain's better than them. They're going to have most of the possession.
In terms of how they play,
in terms
of how they play,
Because
or
they
in
keep
terms
the
of
ball
the quality
better?
of players?
How they play in terms of, and we're talking about the team, right?
Yes.
We go through pound for pound player. France has better players. But you talk about the best team in the World Cup with the football, it's Spain. 100%. And we're going to see that again.
With the ball, you're saying.
With the ball. No, even without the ball. Even without the ball. Because the way that they press the ball, you go back and watch the game. The way that they press the ball is incredible. Doku went through one guy, two guys, three guys, still looking up. Another guy came. Defensive transition. Amazing. Best team in the tournament for sure. They just need so many moments to score. It has to be perfect for them to score. They need they need 30, 40 passes to score. France, they're not going to need so many passes to score. They're going to need 1 or 2 passes to score. That's where I think the matchup is.
I just need to know what's wrong with France that you put Spain better than them. What don't you like?
Spain is better with the ball. They're better out of possession. They're better to win the ball back press after loss. Spain is a better collection. They're a better team than France.
You're the same guy that said Belgium wouldn't score today, right?
Did you see the goal that they scored? Inch perfect.
Well, it doesn't matter. You still said they wouldn't score.
It's my
There's
opinion.
no chance.
I'm not right about everything.
We know that. The other question.
Who's right?
The other question I got for you, Grell, is yes, Spain dominate with the ball, right, and that's predominantly in the middle of the pitch. So the 2 centre backs, the 3 in midfield with the rotation, and then obviously they go out to the wide areas. Both fullbacks for Spain, in terms of Pedro Porro and Cucurella. Do you think they can stop, slow down, and just keep hold of their front three? And then on the flip side to that, do you think Lamine Yamal can raise his game? Because the one area I see of France that is an issue is probably the left fullback in Deeney, who's very good, by the way, but just when you're looking at a complete team, he's probably the weak link. So can Lamine Yamal raise his game enough that France have to defend and worry about that corner? And then can the Spanish stop that front three?
If you're watching just this tournament, Lamine Yamal, probably not, because you can't just press a button, and he hasn't been good this tournament, right? 1 goal, I think 0 assists, right? But
yeah, and the concern here in terms of the figures is 23 turnovers that he had in the game.
I thought I was watching Pulisic against Belgium in the first half. He turned it over so many times. But the truth is, we've watched him all year, and we know how good he is. So based on what we know about him, real big picture, yeah, of course, he can have a game and be lights out. I just think in this matchup, if Spain are efficient in front of goal, which we haven't seen yet, but if they're efficient in front of goal, they beat France. Mm-hmm. The problem is we haven't seen that yet. They don't have a striker, and Yamal has been lackluster. Nico Williams is coming from the bench, so we haven't seen that yet. Where I just think France just needs a couple moments where they're going to break down Spain, and they're just going to need a couple chances. And
I expect Nico to start though in the next game.
Yeah,
they have to, but then it's like what Grella, you're saying, right? So for a France perspective, they're worried about Lamine Yamal. From a Spain perspective, Mbappé, Olise, Dembele. There's way more that they have to worry about than Spain. Listen, I get your point, but for me, I still feel that France are the better side. I think France has shown us a lot of what they've been through. I said I think France.
I guess the only question to your point though, Grella, is how important is that ruthlessness in defining a game, defining which of the two teams is better?
It's important, but hold on. Let me ask you another question. If the team goes to the final, are they the better team?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
I think France will go to the final because of the way the game sets up. I think France will win. I think France will hit on the counter. I think France don't need a lot to score goals. I think also defensively they have enough to stop Spain. But who will have the lion's share of the ball will be Spain. That doesn't make them a better team. Who will press better will be Spain. Who will create more moments around the box without finishing them? Probably Spain. So Spain will look good in every single factor. And also to answer Troy's question, with the 2 fullbacks, if they're 1v1 with Mbappé or Dembele, they're in trouble. But they're never going to be. They're going to rarely be 1v1 because of the defensive transition is so good that Spain have. They press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. When you get out, there's another one. They get behind the ball pretty quickly. So
but France have also got players that are very good. Very good and comfortable on the ball, like we said about how they can press out. They've got players that are comfortable on the ball to manipulate, move that ball and use their body, and then they break that press, then Spain do drop back. So it's not going to be that way where they get put under pressure and they give the ball away cheaply.
It's an intriguing game because whether you talk about the individual quality, the tactical, the on the ball, off the ball, you can make an argument for both sides as to why they're going to be good. For me personally, I think France have just got the edge. You're talking 60-40, like maybe 10% more just because of that top line and the amount of goals that they got, the ruthless streak that they've got. But also, just with some of the things that Phil was saying, like Lamine Yamal, so make it out that, you know, we're on that level. So does he want? Is this a game that him and Nico Williams raise their game? Is this a day where everyone in the Spanish team says, we can make a real statement here and raises their game 10, 20%? I just think it's an extraordinary game. But one thing I did see today, first time the keeper was asked to have some trouble, like deal with something, lets a goal in, comes off his line, gets beaten. The keeper looked very nervy to me. And the two centre-backs, while they're great on the ball, little head and cushions to themselves and replaying, fantastic. Defensively, they got exposed a little bit today. So let's see what the French can do.
Cubarsí is beat on the goal from Charlotte Ketelade. I guess the question would be, and you made the reference that it's the final before the final. Troy had a little bit of a poppy before, but do you think...
Is that not literally what it is?
Yeah, it is literally what it is. But I guess the question that we want to ask
It's a final that most people will be happy to say it's a final. That's what I meant. It's the final where most people will be happy before the final.
But Nigel, do you think the winner of this World Cup is more likely to come from this game than the other side of the bracket?
Yes, I do. I have France winning it.
You think it will?
I have France winning it all. I think it will.
You don't think England or Argentina?
England, forget about it. We don't even know if they're going to go to the semifinal on the other side. We've got to see Norway first with England. And they haven't been good. I just think this is 1 versus 2. These guys are in their own stratosphere. Spain and France are in their own stratosphere with the caliber of player and the style of play. They're 1 and 2, no question about it. I think Argentina is way below that. I think England are way below that. Obviously, if Norway and Switzerland get there, okay, we know. But France and Spain, this is the final. A little bit like the Champions League that we saw on one side. Was it Bayern, PSG?
Yeah.
We knew that one of those would win the final.
Troy, do you agree?
I don't like him talking bad about England, I'll be honest.
You just got
you.
Oh, no, you
just got to ignore him.
Only I can talk bad about England.
Only I can say. My patriotism came out there. I had to just sit on my hands for a second. But no, I think he's right. Unfortunately, when you look at it, it's not saying that England can't win in a one-off game and something happens, a red card or whatever it might be. But it just gives you that feeling. I said it a few weeks back. It feels like the Champions League all over again. It feels like England have had a nicer side of the draw. Let's say that they're Arsenal. They're probably going to have one real game where you go, okay, that's impressive. And then it's into the final. And then on the other side, you're going to look and go, wow, these guys beat who? Start going through who they've beat, see the players that they've got, the talent that they've got, and you're like, maybe if everything works and if, and if you're France or Spain and you're playing England, you're like, we play our best game, we win. And that's unfortunately what it looks like.
There's also potentially what England could play Argentina in the semis, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot more than football in that game there, which can be...
Norway first.
Listen, you.
Norway first.
Your team went home.
Didn't even make it.
Went out like a fart, bro.
Both of my teams, embarrassing.
A bit of air. Your team, you haven't spoken. You're not allowed to speak. and your other team,
oh, man.
Well, I don't even know when they're going to be back in this World Cup. So let's wait for the Nations League.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's wait to the Nations League. We talk about that. Mackenzie, how are you?
Mackenzie, you've barely had 5 minutes to enjoy your win on this game between Spain and Belgium, but you're looking ahead already to the semifinal. What stands out to you from a betting point of view?
Yeah, I'm looking at the markets moving, right, as we saw the opening lines. Now, France to win in regulation is plus 130, but France just to qualify right now is minus 140. They open at minus 155, so you're seeing slight money coming on Spain. Obviously, a lot of time before we really start to see a solid amount of money to make an assumption. What is interesting, though, is that you're seeing France's team total over 1.5 at plus money for the first time in recent history, probably in the whole tournament thus far. So if you think that there are some holes in Spain's defense, plus 125 is the best price on a bet that France has hit, continuing. What I like is the second half to be the highest amount of goals scored, especially in the knockout stage. You're seeing that true for Spain. You're seeing that true for France as well. So that's plus 105. I anticipate you won't get plus money for that for very long, but interesting to see some plus money around this France offense.
Yeah, you mentioned sort of the second half scoring. The last time these two teams played, it was a 5-4, and 7 of the 9 goals came in the second half. So